and welcome to episode 11 of the WOOLJEWEL Podcast. I'm Caitlin, and this is my podcast mostly about knitting and other crafty stuff that I'm up to. I'm coming to you from Steinwenden, Germany, where I am living right now with my husband and cat. If you want to get in touch with me, Instagram is probably the best way. I am at WOOLJEWEL, and I'm also WOOLJEWEL on Ravelry if you want to add me on there. And we've got a Ravelry group called WOOLJEWEL Podcast, and WOOLJEWEL is one word. And there will be links for all of that just below. So first, I want to say welcome to everyone watching. If you're new, if you're returning, thank you so much for hanging out a little bit. I know it's been a while since my last episode. They're getting a little more spaced out recently just because of life happening. Today is probably going to be a little bit of a shorter episode just to share my works in progress and stuff. Other than that, there's not too much interesting stuff going on right now, even though it's been a while since I uploaded last. Before I start the episode, I want to mention the knit along that I'm co-hosting with Celeste from Mirror to Table and Taylor from Wool Needles Hands. We're doing the Great Unravel 2017. So if you are interested in unraveling a thrifted sweater and turning it into something new, giving that recycled yarn new life, there's definitely still time. We originally had the finished object deadline June 17th, but I think we're going to be extending it to July or August. I have to double check, but I will definitely put the details and the link to the group with all the rules and whatnot. So definitely check that out if you're interested. I'm not going to mention like all the rules and everything on every episode, but I will share the prizes. So some of the prizes I've got are one of these awesome project bags made by Stina, and all her info is right here. So she is a designer as well, and she is donating a hat pattern. One of these bags, you'll get a fresh one. This one's mine. The hat pattern is a DK weight pattern, so I will be dyeing up a skein of DK to go with that. One of the prize threads is going to be for anybody who completes a garment, and so for that prize you will be getting this project bag, and this is made by Clara from Studio C. She dyes yarn. She makes really cute project bags. These are really high quality. Same with Stina's bag. They're both really nice. Anna from the Dunkelgrun Podcast has dyed up this beautiful skein of DK yarn and donated it as a prize. So this will be going to the garment knitter as well. And this has been dyed with logwood. So she got this amazing pastel purple color from logwood. It's crazy, but it's really beautiful. So thank you so much, Anna and Clara and Stina, for donating those prizes. There will be a few smaller things as well, including some of my own hand-dyed yarn and just a few other fun little things, but those are kind of the main prizes. Normally this is where I show off my little bonsai, but it's not doing too well. So I'm just gonna let him be in timeout for a little while. He's kind of all dried out. I think I just forgot to water him enough. So that's my bad, but hopefully he'll grow a little and I'll show him off next time. And also apologies for my scratchy throat. I got sick yet again when I got back from Edinburgh a few weeks ago. I was super sick, and I was like finally getting better, and then I got another cold, and I just like couldn't keep putting off filming, so I'm doing it anyway. So if that bothers you, sorry. Okay, yeah, so that's about it for all the boring stuff, and I'll just jump into my FOs. So I finished that worsted boxy sweater by Joji Locatelli. It was a gift knit for my friend Jackie, and this is the same Jackie that my Margs with Jackie colorway yarn is named after. It's my favorite color. It's my favorite thing to do is get Margs with my friend Jackie, and I gave it to her, and I didn't take a picture of it first, so I'm really sorry, but I finished it, and I'm really glad it's done because she bought the yarn for that thing for me to knit in September, and it has taken me this long to finish it. It was really awesome being able to give it to her in person because she was on vacation with her husband in Paris for a few days, so I dropped everything and I went to go meet her, and I was just there for one night. Yeah, I'll talk more about my trip at the end of the episode, but it was really lovely to be able to give a hand knit sweater to a dear friend that I haven't seen in a long time, and I never get to see her anymore. I'm sorry I can't show it off. Maybe I'll have her take a picture of it and I will share it at some point when that happens. But I do have another FO on the train ride back from Paris, which was awesome, by the way. The train was so fast. It was only 2.5 hours from where I live to get to Paris, and I would be on that train every weekend if money weren't an issue, because it's not the cheapest train in the world. So yeah, but it's nice knowing how easy that train was to take, and I want to do it more for sure. But anyway, on the train ride back from Paris, I finished off these socks from my mom, and these were going to be for Mother's Day, but of course Mother's Day has come and gone, so I don't know, maybe a birthday present. Her birthday's in July. So here they are. These are my vanilla socks. I pretty much always just do vanilla socks. I really want to do a patterned sock at some point, and I have bought patterns for socks. I just never think about casting them on. I think it's because socks are typically my to-go project. I grab them when I need a project for waiting in line somewhere, or if I get stuck in traffic. Sometimes the traffic jams here, they're called staus, and they last 4 hours, and you're just stuck in your car for 4 hours. So yeah, so luckily that hasn't happened to me yet, but I keep hearing stories, so I've always got some socks or something easy to take along, ready to go just in case. Yeah, really want to try some pattern socks. Becky from Stringing It Together has a new sock pattern coming out, and I wanted to offer to test knit them for her, and then I realized that the deadline for them was coming up really soon, and I didn't want to commit to something if I wasn't 100% sure. But if I'm not doing a test knit, I'm for sure going to just buy the pattern. It's a lovely sock pattern, and I'd be happy to just buy it and support her. Hi Becky, love your socks. Oh yeah, just real quick, my sock recipe. I usually knit socks on a size 1, and I knit these on a slightly larger needle, but they were millimeter sizes, and I can never remember the US conversion, so somewhere around a size US size 2. Anyway, but they went really quick because I didn't need as many stitches. I think they're 48 stitches around or something like that. I did Fish Lips Kiss Heel, Judy's Magic Cast On for the toe, and then 12 inches of a twisted rib. I actually do a half twisted rib. I do the twisted stitch only for the right side knit stitches, and then I do a regular purl. I don't do a twisted purl because I really only do the twisted rib for the way it looks, and if you don't twist the purls, it goes a lot faster, and I think it looks the same, at least for me. So you still get that clean rib look without the hassle. And then my favorite stretchy bind off for most things is the Jenny Surprisingly Stretchy Bind Off, because it doesn't seem to flare hardly at all, and it's super stretchy. Yeah, so those are my socks, and those are for my mom. That is it for FOs. I didn't finish very much recently, but I have started a lot of things. So first I'm going to show you, for works in progress, my So Faded sweater. I'm sure most of you guys are aware, Find Your Fade now has a buddy pattern that is a sweater. So it's a faded pullover, knit in fingering weight, and I've never done a fingering weight garment before. And I've been wanting to do a sock weight sweater, and this was just perfect. I was actually thinking to myself, oh, I would love to do a fadey speckly sock yarn sweater. And I searched Ravelry for hours looking for the perfect sweater pattern that I could just do my own colors in. I wanted something really simple, but I couldn't find anything I liked. And then literally the next day I saw on Instagram that she was releasing this pattern. So I was super excited because it was exactly what I was looking for. All right, so here it is. I am doing like somewhere in between the cropped and the regular length version. This hits me right kind of where my jeans start, like right at the belt loops. So if I like lift my arms all the way, then it'll come up a little bit, but that doesn't bother me that much. I just feel like I'm so short. My legs are super stumpy that if I have things that go past where my pants start, it makes my legs look even shorter and my torso looks super long, and it's just not flattering for my shape, I don't think. Yeah, so I tried this on as is, and it's super cute as a t-shirt. I feel like I'm getting lazy. I feel like everything I knit, I'm like, oh, this looks great as a t-shirt. I just won't do the sleeves. But I can't keep doing that. I'm actually gonna knit the sleeves this time, but I think I'm gonna do them just past the elbow. I only like it if sleeves go like way past my wrist or they stop before my wrist. It feels awkward to me to have them right here because I either want to grab onto them or push them up. I don't know what my problem is. Anyway, I really love this. I'm gonna put it on. I think that the pattern is supposed to have negative ease. It's supposed to be more fitted, but there's a lot of positive ease in mine. I haven't checked, but I have a feeling that my gauge in the actual sweater is bigger, but it's okay. I don't mind if it's looser. I like positive ease, but this is superwash yarn, so I'm kind of worried that it's gonna grow a lot when I block it. So I might try just like spray blocking it and not fully submerging it. So I don't know, we'll see. I don't want it to get way too big because it's really cute as is. The yarn I'm using is my own. This is a Bear sock yarn that I dyed, and I did these a long time ago when I was like first experimenting dyeing. And I didn't mean to do a fade, but I think I just naturally gravitate towards certain colors. And these were sitting on my shelf, and while I was looking for the perfect yarn for this sweater, I was going through all this expensive hand-dyed yarn that I purchased, and I couldn't find the perfect fade. Or I would find the perfect fade, but they would all be different fibers. And mixing fibers doesn't bother me that much for like shawls or things with lots of texture. But this is just a plain stockinette. I don't know, I thought that the fade wouldn't go as smoothly and gradually if they were different fibers, and so you'd be able to like see the texture of them poking out. So yeah, then I was like, oh, I'll just see if I have my own hand dyed. I have a cubby full of my own hand dyed that I just like haven't used. And I found this perfect fade, and I think that these colors are flattering on me and are really pretty, and they fade super well. You don't see like exact stripes. It fades really nicely. Yeah, so I'm really excited about this. I think that the sleeves are gonna go super fast because I don't want them to be super long. So hopefully I can get the sleeves done tonight and then I can wear it. It has gone by really fast so far, so I might just make another one. I don't know. And this was just 3 skeins of yarn, and I'm making the size 38, I think. Since it's on the larger side for me, I think if I made the size 34, it's even less yarn, so that's awesome. Okay, another thing I started was the granny stripe crochet blanket. I am totally jumping on the bandwagon here. And I don't know if you guys remember, but way back when I first started podcasting, I was showing off this guy, which was the Coziest Memories blanket. And it was really fun to knit these little squares, but my biggest problem with this project was that the squares all use the same amount of yarn. So if you have scraps of different sizes, you could potentially be left with more scraps. Each of these takes like 10 grams or something like that. And I have 15 grams of a color. Then what do I do with the 5 grams that's left? Like that really bothers me. I don't want to make more scraps or, you know, have smaller scraps than I can even make a square with sitting around. So I'm gonna unravel this. We're gonna have a nice moment of silence for this maybe next week. And I have plans to unravel some other things, so that'll be coming up, not today, because I don't have time, but I've got big frog plans in the future. Okay, so here's what I've got. It's really long. I got really far. I got really carried away. I have this cubby in my yarn room full of just teeny little scraps that are too small to like want to put into like a Stephen West shawl with lots of, you know, like a scrappy project. So I got really carried away. I grabbed every single little scrap that was like less than 10 grams. Some of them were more, and I went to town on this crochet blanket. So I'll show it off all the way. So far I've only used sock and fingering. And I also had some lovely minis that were gifted to me from swaps and things like that. And so that's what I started the blanket with. I started the blanket with all these minis that were gifted, and then I did my own stash stuff. And I love it. I love the look of this more than the Coziest Memories squares, and I love that you can just use every last tiny millimeter of yarn that you have in your scrap. And I've just been doing Russian joins to connect the new yarn, and that's been amazing because I hate weaving in ends just like everyone else, and you don't have to do it at all here. You're gonna have like one end at the beginning and one end to weave in when you're done. So that's awesome. And I didn't even count how many I chained in the beginning to start this off. I just like went until, and then I held it up to see how wide it was, and I was like, yeah, okay, that works. And after I crocheted a few rows, I held it up to my bed. I have a queen size bed, and it hangs over 1 inch on each side. That was like the perfect size. It just kind of happened. So that worked out really well. And this is living in my bag from Stina. It's the perfect size for now, but I'm gonna have to get a bigger one for it eventually. Yeah, but I'm actually kind of sad because I am out of scraps. I used all of them. Yeah, so I'm thinking about doing like a minis swap if anybody wants to swap. Okay, I can't swap minis because I don't have any minis to send. I know that some people sell minis in like packages, so let me know if you have a favorite dyer or a favorite just like yarn shop or something that sells packets of minis that are like from all different dyers and all different brands and stuff, like not like one dyer is selling all of their own minis, because I want the different fibers and different dyers and stuff like that in my blanket. Okay, and then the third whip I want to show y'all is another sweater, and this is the, I think it's pronounced Reis, R-E-I-S, by Stephen West. This is a bottom-up sweater, and this is a slip stitch fabric that kind of looks woven. And I haven't decided. I kind of went to town on this when I started it. Like I did this much in just like 3 days or something because I was really excited about it. But now that I've done these colors, I ran out of the second color that I used for the background. So it's time to change colors, and then everything I've got right now is a potential. I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the color options I've got, so this might be getting frogged. I don't know if I'm just gonna frog this one section or if I'm gonna frog the whole thing and think more carefully about the colors this time. But it did knit up pretty quickly. And this is also fingering weight, sock weight, and it's going really fast because it's on size 6 needles. And I love this hem that it starts with. I've never done a hem like this, but it's really nice and neat. I love it. So you essentially just, you cast on here, you knit, and then you do 1 row of purls to get this little edge. And that makes it super easy to fold over on itself. And then you like knit the cast on with this new row, and then you start knitting the sweater. So I will probably be applying that same hem to other projects. I almost did it in my So Faded sweater, but the So Faded sweater was top down and this is a bottom up, so I didn't know if I would be skilled enough to do it in reverse. Trying to do that might be too much at this point, because I think I prefer the look of this to the ribbed hem, but we'll see once I block it, and I might like the ribbed hem a little better. So the yarns for this I'm using, this first yarn is a hand-dyed skein by me. This is half wool, half silk, I think, and I think it's a skein from, I got the Bear skein from Knit Picks, like their beginner dyer kit or whatever from forever ago. And I really like it in the skein, but the second color that I put it with, I think does not bring out what I like about this darker yarn, because it's mostly blackish blue, but it has rainbow underneath because I over dyed it. But since this kind of started out, like this is an ombre yarn. It starts out kind of beige and it fades into this neon green. But I think that this beige is not nice with this first yarn. So I think this is gonna get frogged. Now that I'm looking at it more, I kind of put it in timeout for a while. Yeah, but I really like the neon that it faded into. And then I also put it with a brighter yarn for the background. So let me show you these yarns by themselves. This is the first color. It's dark and it has kind of rainbow colors underneath. And this is a Zauberball. And you can kind of see how it's beige and it goes to green, but the most neon part has already been knit up into the sweater. So I was planning on using this to fade all the way up to where the yoke starts, and then just changing the background color. The second background color is this one. And I thought it would look nice because it's also mostly dark, but it has like some brighter rainbowy colors in there. But it just did not turn out the way that I was envisioning it. So I don't know. I don't know if I should be more random with the color or be more planned out. I feel like it only works if I don't plan at all, or if I'm like super over prepared with the colors and make exact choices before I start. This, I just kind of cast it on and went, and it's not working. But I do have this whole canvas bag full of partial sock skeins, all colors, and most of these were used in my Marled Magic shawl, which I love the palette of that. So I was like, well, maybe I should just do kind of the same exact colors for the sweater, but then it's like, do I really want 2 giant garments knit with all the same yarn and all the same colors? So I don't know. I feel like this isn't even that interesting, but that's what's happening. Yeah, so next time I see you, this will either be frogged or we'll have more. Because I think once I finish my So Faded sweater, I'm gonna focus more on this. Other works in progress I've got going on are the Sincerely Louise faux taxidermy fox head. I haven't worked on that at all, and I also haven't worked on my weaving since I showed it off last time, so I'm not going to show them today. Yeah, that is actually it. Yeah, so no fluff stuff today, but I will share a little bit that I have dyed. This is more of like a dream knitting project, or like horizon knitting, or whatever people are calling it, but I am going to start a Find Your Fade shawl soon. I am getting the yarn together to do that because I have a really fun idea. At least I think it's really fun. It is Harry Potter related, inspired by Nikki from Tea and Possibilities, because she is doing like a Find Your House shawl. So she's doing all the Hogwarts colors for her Find Your Fade. So that got me thinking, like, what in the Harry Potter world can I use as color inspiration for a cool fade. I think my favorite book is The Half-Blood Prince. It was the most exciting one for me to read. Everything that happens at the end of that book, I have never been like so scared reading a book in my life. It was really spooky, it was scary, it was exciting, my heart was pounding. Like I had never gotten that kind of reaction just from reading a book. So that is by far my favorite Harry Potter book. So then I was thinking, well, what in The Half-Blood Prince would be something I can take color inspiration from? And I loved the swirly, like bright green cover of that book. So that got me thinking, I gotta put neon green in there somewhere. I'm not gonna say what my exact idea is until I've compiled all the colors, but this shawl is going to be dark magic related. Yeah, so all the colors are gonna have to do with Voldemort and other spooky stuff. So here are two of the colors I've got going on. I dyed these with my friend Melanie. I've been teaching her to knit and helping her out with some stuff, and she said that she wanted to dye some yarn, and so she came over and we both did a few skeins, and this is what I came up with. So here's one of them. This was inspired by something from the Harry Potter books, and I just don't want to give it away yet because I feel like it's such a good idea that if I say what the idea is before I even have all the yarn for it, something's gonna happen. Like I'm gonna jinx it or something like that. So I'm just gonna wait till I have all of the yarn here with me and I can see that the fade works, and then I will be like, okay, yes, this idea works. Anyway, but this is inspired by Harry Potter for one of my fade colors, and then I also dyed this one. Yeah. Something in the books inspired this color and this color, and I think that these two are gonna be next to each other in the fade because I actually didn't use the same dyes to get this brownish color. Like they both came from different dyes, but they kind of came out looking the exact same. And there will be more neon green and stuff happening. But I will talk more about that next time, hopefully when I have all the yarn here, because I think all of it's on its way. Okay, so that is actually it for any knitting and woolly related stuff. So if that's all you're interested in, then thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time. And now I'm going to do a little bit of block it out while I've got time before I have to run off and teach. Yeah, so I'll just let you know what I've been up to for the past couple weeks since last I uploaded. Ben is still out of town. He's gone for 2 weeks doing some training for work in the States. So that kind of stinks. Sometimes when he leaves, I am thrilled. Like, it's fun to have some alone time, to be completely honest. In some ways, it's a little bit easier that I don't only have to like worry about myself. And I can actually get more knitting done when he's gone. But he was gone for 9 days last month, and then he was back for a week only, and then had to leave for another 2 weeks. So like the first time he was gone for 9 days, I was doing great. I was super busy, so I didn't get lonely. And the week that he came back, we were both really busy, so we didn't really get to spend any time together, and then he was gone again, and this time for much longer. So this time was a little bit harder than last time. But I've got good friends keeping me company, and I made sure that I had a few projects to keep me engaged. That's why I started 2 sweaters, because I knew I'd be excited about them. I've got ballet going on. There's a show coming up in June, so we've had like more rehearsals for that, so that's kept me a little bit busier too. Yeah, and I mentioned that my friend Jackie was, oh my gosh, there's a really annoying fly. I mentioned that my friend Jackie was in Paris, so I went to go visit her. The train is super fast. From where I live, it's only 2.5 hours on the high-speed train. And so I'm just really grateful that any commitments I had were really easy to reschedule or cancel. I'm really grateful that my work that I do here is flexible, that I can just pick up and leave if I really want to or really need to. So it was especially good because I was really dumb and I wrote down the wrong dates when she'd be here in my calendar. So yeah. So I did have to just kind of like say like, oh my gosh, you're in Paris right now. Okay, I guess I'll see you in a couple days. So that's what I did. It was like the most self-indulgent and gluttonous couple of days I've had in a while. We didn't do much sightseeing. They went to museums and stuff before I got there, but when I was there, all we did was eat and drink. We got really good food. We got really good coffee. We got really good wine. We got really good macarons, and we did go to the Eiffel Tower, but that's like the only sightseeing we did. Other than that, we just like walked around and found places to consume things. But right before I left, I did make sure that I got some new point shoes. That is mostly because I'm in a beginner point class and I've only had one pair of point shoes. And I don't even know if you guys are interested in like my dance stuff, but that's kind of what's going on with me, so I'm going to share. So my first pair of point shoes I got a few months ago. It was not a great experience. We don't have a lot of dance shops around where we live. I had to drive an hour to go to a dance shop where they had point shoes. They didn't speak very much English, and I don't know enough German to get into the nitty-gritty of like how things fit and what they're supposed to feel like and ask questions about point shoes. Like I'm not there with my German yet. So it was a little bit of a challenge. Normally you want a professional fitter who's very knowledgeable about the point shoes to help you find the perfect pair of point shoes. But these people were not that. I think they just like wanted to sell. And I made the mistake of telling them I was a adult beginner. Like I've been doing ballet for a while, but I haven't had point shoes yet. And normally you want to tell your fitter that you're a beginner at point, but once I told her beginner, she would only let me try on 2 different pairs, which was like really frustrating. So while I was in Paris, I was like, okay, finally in a city that actually has dance shops and people who know what they're doing. So I picked up a pair of point shoes from Repetto, and they make like ballet flats, like street shoes, but they also make point shoes and like ballet slippers and some dance wear, which was cool. And oh my gosh, their shoes are so beautiful. They're little ballet flats. If you haven't seen these shoes, I knew that I couldn't try on a pair, because if I tried on a pair, I would definitely have bought some because they looked amazing. But they were like over 200 euros for ballet flats, and I was like, I can't do it. Luckily, their actual ballet shoes are normal prices, but these are them. I just wanted to show them because they're so pretty. These are so much more beautiful than my last pair. I love the color more. They're more of like an actual pink, and my old ones are kind of like a peachy color, but these are more, these are just a nicer pink. But I really like them, and they look so pretty when they're brand new, and I know that they're gonna get disgusting, which I also kind of like the look of the worn-in point shoe thing, but I just sewed on these ribbons last night, so these are not broken in yet, but I'm really excited about these. And these are actually a beginner point shoe. They only have 2 styles, and luckily one of them worked for me. So I can't wait for these to get broken in and I can actually dance in them. But I've got class tomorrow, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so thanks for letting me share my dance stuff with you. I know most of you guys are probably not interested in that at all, but it's a big part of my life right now. I super love dancing and I'm having a lot of fun with it. Yeah, I think like going on point was something I always wanted to do when I was younger, but I hadn't taken ballet long enough before I went to college, and then I quit dancing entirely. And I'm like living one of my dreams that I have wanted since I was like 12 years old. So yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit about that because I'm really excited. I would also share the macarons that I bought, but obviously they did not even like make it home with me. The box that they came in is really beautiful, so I kept it, but those things got eaten so fast. It's not funny. Oh yeah, another thing I've been super excited about lately is the Eurovision contest. I feel like most people here know what that is because it's like a really big deal, but I'm surprised that I never heard about it living in the States. Like, it's a huge song contest. Almost all of Europe participates. So for non-European people watching, if you're not aware what Eurovision is, each country produces a song, and it's kind of like American Idol, but for countries. This year there were like 42 or 43 songs, all from different countries. So the winner from the previous year hosts it the next year. So Ukraine won last year, and so it was hosted in Kiev. And it was awesome. I loved watching it. I got super invested. I was super rooting for certain countries and like really disgusted by some of the songs that actually made it in that I thought were total garbage. I don't know, it was like really exciting for me. So Portugal won this year, and I think this is the first time Portugal has ever won Eurovision. And the song was incredible. Most of the songs in the show have like huge flashy stage stuff, lighting, like fireworks, all this crazy stuff happening. But the guy from Portugal just sang this incredibly beautiful song. It was just him and the soundtrack. No theatrics whatsoever because it wasn't needed at all. And so it really stood out, and it felt like real music, and it wasn't this disposable pop garbage that like most of the countries had. To be fair, a lot of times I really like disposable pop music garbage, but I don't know, as a musician, it was like really nice to see that people were really rooting for somebody trying to get some like real heartfelt music out there. So that was a win for me. That was a huge win. Unfortunately, I think most Americans don't even know about Eurovision, so they don't even know it's a thing, and they won't be exposed to the song. But I will actually link to the song and maybe link to some of my other favorite songs that were in the competition. So the countries I was rooting for this year were Portugal, obviously, Denmark, Ireland. Actually, I super love the song that Ireland put out, but it didn't make it to the finals, unfortunately. Who else was I rooting for? I really liked the girls from the Netherlands. I really liked the song from Azerbaijan. Oh yeah, Iceland too. I really liked the song from Iceland, but Iceland didn't make it to the finals either. Yeah, anyway, I'll put some links if you guys are interested. It was a super fun thing to watch. So next year, I think I'm gonna have a Eurovision party. So yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for indulging me in talking about things I'm excited about that have nothing to do with knitting. Yeah, so if you made it to the end of the video, I would super appreciate it if you gave me a thumbs up and or a subscribe. That will just help more people find my podcast, and more people means more giveaways and more fun things happening. So I would really appreciate it. So thanks again for hanging out and watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Always remember, home is where the stash is. Bye.